Not going for the permutation, this is not a reason why it's a voting issue, just because it's intrinsic, just a reason why direct and perm, not necessarily the team. The solvency debate, the biggest impact, the biggest problem with this 2NR was there's very little time on solvency. They're way behind on the question of the why ideology work. The alternatives that gamblers should be willing to take. Let's face it, if everyone threw from the ideology capital, that would probably kill the majority of the world's population within a week. A's point people who acquire laptops in order to go to work or do anything. Point B's the point where you buy your food, you go to the supermarket, that supermarket, guess what's from capitalism? Everyone doesn't grow their own food, everyone doesn't have their own farm, which means people would die under your framework. C's the point is medicine. The world of medicine or other evidence says that the world of medicine people rely upon things like insulin shots and things like that, which are produced because of economics and situations such as that, and that technological progress they resolved is indicted by our cards. D's the point this was sanitation. The example of politics of nostalgia is what they are. They want to go back to the past. They want to say, fuck the world we're in, the world's bad, it's in a death spiral. That situation's one which ignores the politics of the past. The past was not a pretty place. Living in a cave was not a pretty place. The happy face is not the world of the past. The happy face is technology. The happy face is computers. The happy face is World of Warcraft. The happy face is cool things like that. Our Jaffe card he makes fun of. Really, ironically, the 1AC becomes illustrative of what they do. Their game imagination has real consequences in the world we live in, where people depend upon the division of labor that capitalism creates to live, eat, drink, smoke, shit, and die. Their alternative is all jive. Look, just because they have some dude from Slovenia saying, I swear if we all drew from capitalism, everything would be sweet and a happy face would result, is fucking retarded. We have proven that our unbalanced capitalism is good for the world's poor. It may not be perfect, but it's better than any alternative system of interaction on a global scale. The burden is on them, not us, to justify that to you in your heart that we really need to risk a Soviet Russia, to risk a feudalistic revival, to risk death of a vast majority of the population. This is our Reisman evidence rather than the 1AC that the survival of humanity depends upon capitalism. They say there's immediate redistribution. First of all, they have that card 1 that says withdrawal from ideology causes you to somehow fly or wish yourself to Africa to give their laptop to them. Second is their evidence asserts a circular logic. It says that if we just took away all the evils of capitalism, then redistribution would automatically result. But there's not a warrant for this. Also, their card they're assuming does not say the words withdrawal of ideology leads to redistribution. It says if we did this whole laundry list of things such as getting rid of monopolization, getting rid of all these other things, then that potentially would lead to redistribution. They do not have the internal link that says getting rid of ideology would cause the shift. At best, they have some crappy Zizek card, which is not what you should be willing to risk a majority of the world's poor on. They say it's still educational, but we are the only ones who've read evidence that says growth does scientifically reduce income inequality as well as inequality in living standards, which proves the impact of the debate, the impact proper. Ethics debate on top. This is the point of our affirmative. Their reason saying there is argument on why ethics matters. It is unethical because ethics mediates ethics. That is circular logic. There is not a warrant given in the entirety of the debate on what the fuck ethics is, why ethics is good, what is ethical about capitalism, not ethical capitalism. They just say, well, our card asserts it hurts some funny thing on inside of you, thus you should vote negative. This is not a reason to vote for them. The vast majority of people's lives not depend on something inside of you, but depend on food, depend upon things such as life, insulin, things like that. This is what makes life worth living. People happy, people have the ability to eat, things like that. This is all impacted on our armchair argument that you have to have food on the table to eat before you care about complex things that should be able to read Zizek and psychoanalysis, things like that. This is important because you continue ethical and it's not ethical. It doesn't matter bad because the ultimate warrant behind that is it hurts the poor. If we internally turn that warrant of hurting the poor with better data than that, then use a vote affirmative immediately. His example is if I cut my partner to earn money, that's bad. First of all, if he really values giving up some blood because he cuts himself for $500 or $5,000, so fucking be it. That's his decision to have, not our own. Second, if he doesn't say it's his choice to make, it's a free exchange situation. Also, more importantly, this doesn't really even apply to this debate specifically. It is not the World Horizon card. It's not specific to the situation of one person, but rather the whole population. They say that their war claim right here. First of all, let's do data first. They say our data is always indictable and you should always reject it. This has been illustrated throughout the CS, the 2NC, the 1EC, the 2EC, as well as the 1ER. That data is inevitable. We all have to know why we believe certain things. The only reason why he believes capitalism is bad is because of his personal experience of seeing poor people on the street. He has no reason why those people are there. It's not. He just blames it on capitalism. It's the evil of society that causes things. He's the point of this. He assumes and trusts that this crazy author named Shaw, who swears by God that it's true and there's data to support it, but not even giving it or showing us the debate is true. His faith in this is the debate is about comparisons of data. Which data is better than others? Their data is a small sample size. His belief in how they view their beliefs in how they view the world is not how we believe the world. I specifically think throughout the world, my personal experience, that people have been on better because of this. I've talked to people, development economists, who are not rich people throughout the world, but rather come from poor nations and believe it's good in situations like that. Also, more importantly, is all this data claims doesn't really underlie anything like this because we are the only one. The visa point of this is our data is the only one that provides correlation and causation because because specifically this says that their blanket assertion doesn't really prove that it actually caused. We're the only one that gives a large sample space that assumes data selected by the World Bank, not just economic institutions, the UN, given things such as life expectancy and things outside of economic indicators, as well as general other proxies of wealth, which our evidence says all of that data, when chosen correctly, as per our evidence, is much better than the data on the Vice. They don't show you that data. You should not trust their authors. You should vote them down because of that. As per our framework of this debate, they say that we limit knowable labor cost and all that. That's all doesn't apply to this. The war-based arguments, it's not new. This was finished in 10 seconds. This was finished in the 2 and the R. There wasn't a warrant until 2 and R. We answered it then. Our evidence on this says that poverty is a cause of interdependence. They don't have any data going the other direction. We're the only one with piece evidence that's going the other direction on the labor cost. This is all answered with our data in the 1AC that says wages are on better, best for growth, and it has the best way to make money. And it is not necessarily this. It is not, we're the only one with data on this shit. We're the only one with good evidence that says growth, which is what we cause economic rationality, is better in people's lives. We have statistics, we have studies by lots of institutions. There are blanket indicts that it's all wrong, it's non-falsifiable. We should defer to our evidence because there's a clear claim and a warrant.